So to solve 94 divided by 3, this could be a problem like I had 94 cookies right here. Okay, 94 of those, and I need to put them into 3 cookie jars. So what you would see is these cookies would need to go into the cookie jars evenly. I would split them up. There'd be 94 of these, which is my dividend, the whole number. And then I would split them into 3 groups, or groups of 3 to put them, whatever in this case would be, into 3 groups. But there's a quick, easy way to do it. So let's look at that and just kind of scoot this up out of the way over here. So the first thing we're going to do, of course, looking at our D, is divide. And we're going to be splitting up the place value. So we're going to start with the 9 here. And it's going to be 9 divided by 3. So how many 3's can go into 9 without going over? So if I go through my 3's, I got 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. Hey! Lands right on 9. So that's perfect. It took 3 3's. So I'm going to write the 3 right up here above the digit I'm working with. So now I'm done with my divide. And I can check it off, and I'm now going to move to multiplying, and when I multiply, I'm multiplying what I just put up there times my divisor. So 3 times 3 times 3 is going to be 9, and I write it right up underneath, so I'm done with multiply. And I'm going to subtract 9 minus 9. So I'm not using the 4 yet. I'm not using this yet. It's on the other side of this line, so it's just 9 minus 9, which we know is 0. So I'm done with subtract. So now to compare, I'm just comparing, is this 0, the number I just ended up with, the difference here, less than my divisor? 0 less than 3? Yes, it is. So I'm done with compare. So now it's bring up or bring down. Bring down always comes first. So do I have a digit to bring down? Well, yeah, I haven't used this 4 yet, so I need to bring the 4 down right there. And so I'm just going to draw an arrow and write the 4. So now my new number that I can start all over with is going to be 4, it's going to be 4 divided by 3. So how many 3's can go into 4 without going over? Well, we could see right over here as we wrote this, 2 would give me 6, that's too many, so 1. 1 is the most I can do. I'll write the 1 up here, and then I'm going to cross off D again, and now I'm going to multiply, and I'm going to multiply the 1 times the 3, because it's the number I just put up here by the divisor, and that is going to be 3. And I'll write it right under there. Now I can subtract. 4 minus 3 is 1. I'm going to compare. Is 1 less than 3? Yes. So now all I have left is to bring up or bring down. And of course bring down comes first. So I check, do I have any more digits after the 4? Of course not. So this 1 becomes my remainder. So I write it like this. 31 remainder 1. So there'd be 31 cookies. To go back to the original problem, I would put 31 cookies in each jar, and then I'd have to eat one, because it'd be left out of the cookie jar, and you just can't have that. Okay, so let's look at our next problem, 87 divided by 2. That could be a problem like this. I have 87 Pokemon cards. There's Mr. Pikachu, but imagine I had 87 of those, not just Pikachu's, 87 Pokemon cards, and I want to share them with my friend that came over. So there's my friend, and so I guess you could say that, you know, this could be me, this could be her, or vice versa, but there's 2 of us. There's 87 cards, so these 87 cards are going to be shared equally amongst the 2 of us. So that's a good division question. My question would be is how many cards would each of us get? So 87 divided by 2 would be the way to set that up. So we'll just move our visual image up here, 87 cards being shared with 2 friends. So let's again look through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split up my place values, nice and easy. And I'm going to start with my divide, dividing 8 by 2. So again, I can use fact families to help me. So how many 2's can go into 8 without going over? Some of you may already know this, but I'm going to write it anyway. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 3. Oops, sorry. Whoop, that's way wrong. Say, what's wrong with you? Is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. Hey, I landed right on 8. So that would be 4 2s. So I'm going to write the 4 right up here. And I'm done with D, so now I multiply the 4 times 2, and that's going to be 8. Now I can subtract. That's going to leave me 0. Now I'm going to compare. Is 0 less than 2? Yes. So I can now bring up or bring down, and bring down comes first, so I got the 7 to bring down. I'm going to bring it down. So now my new problem that I'm all done is going to be 7 divided by 2. So how many 2's can go into 7? Well, the good news is I already wrote it here. So I can see 4 is too many because that's 8. 3 looks to be the most amount I can put in without going over. So I'm going to write 3. And then I'm done with my divides, and I'm going to multiply 3 times 2, which is going to be 6. Now I can subtract. And I'm going to subtract 7 minus 6 and get 1. So I'm done with subtract. Now I'm going to compare. Is 1, and this line is kind of confusing. I don't want to confuse anybody, but this line, remember, was when I split up the deal. So is 1 less than 2? Yes, it is. So do I have anything to bring up or bring down? Do I have anything to bring down? I do not. And therefore, my 1 here becomes my remainder. My answer is 43, remainder 1. So to go back to the question and answer it, if I had 87 Pokemon cards to share amongst me and my friend and I, then how many cards would we get? We would each get 43 cards, and then there'd be one leftover card that wouldn't be shared equally. So we may just discard that one, or I may let her have it because I'm a nice host and I like to have my guest let the advantage. So that's it. Okay, our final problem was 78 divided by 5. So this could be, I had, let's say, 78 books in my library or in my room. And I needed to put my 78 books, needed to organize them onto my bookshelf that has 5 shelves like this one. So how am I going to get these 78 books put onto these 5 shelves as equally as possible to make it visually aesthetic? So let's check out the problem and go from there. So again, I have my first D is 7 divided by 5, which I know I can only put one 5 into 7 without going over. And 1 times 5, now that I'm multiplying, is going to be 5. And then when I subtract, I'm going to get 2. I'm going to compare, and 2 is less than 5. So now I'm going to bring down my 8. How many 5s can go into 28? And 5s are pretty easy. I know 6 is 30. That's too many. So 5 5s, done with that division, is going to give me 25. Done with that multiplication. When I subtract, I get 3. When I compare, it's a yes. So now I'm going to bring that up. It's going to be 15 on each shelf. And I'm going to have 3 leftover books that maybe I'll put on top. Maybe I'll keep on my dresser. But that answers that question.